Welcome back, you guys. I'm EFC, this is Blue Lines TV, and today I bring you guys a late night news daily video. Now, I'm formatting things very differently today because I'm experimenting by using OBS to do things live. So I'm going to see how this goes, and if there's any hiccups in today's video, then bear with me. But before I get into anything, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. As you guys can see on screen, the OneFootball app is convenient. It's a great hub to use to get all your latest news, fixture list news, team news, etc, etc. As you can see on screen, you can use it to get live updates on opposition teams, stats, etc, etc. I use it all the time, and there's a reason why I call this a football companion app. So if you guys want to get this for yourselves, you'll find a link below in the description. And now, without wasting any more time, let's start with the first story of the day. And I want to talk about this mock-up third kit. Now, I have to admit, BR Football, amazing. I love that website. I love the talented graphic designers they have. Now, we've got a clearer idea of how this kit's going to look in person. Of course, Hakim Ziyech, I guess the Red's going to bring him back to his, old Ajax days. It doesn't look bad, but as I keep saying, for historical context reasons, when have we ever used reds? If this was like a yellow instead of a red, this could make a lot of sense. On its own, the kit looks decent. I think this mock-up looks amazing. The amount of work that went into this, just the detail as well, this is really good. And it does feel like getting a glimpse into the 2021 season. The comments below, you guys, has this mock-up picture maybe won you over? Would you buy this third kit now? Make sure you guys let me know below. And now we move on to the second story for the day. And it's a pretty big one because it seems like the club are actually planning to have the players returning back by this Sunday. At this point in time, there are a few players who are out. Guys like Pedro, Marcus Alonso, Kepa, Emerson, Christian Pulisic, Willian, etc, etc. They're all currently outside the country. Now, you might be wondering, Nini, why are the club going to tell these guys to come back? Isn't there a pandemic situation? There is, but there was recent news suggesting that the Premier League may be restarting on the 8th of June. Now, let's see what happens. Of course, earlier today, Boris Johnson kind of gave hints in regards to maybe easing the burden in regards to their, self-isolation, etc, etc. So is this giving us indication that football could be back sooner? Now, there's a lot of financial reasons why the Premier League would want to finish, because of course you're not going to get that TV money, and the TV money is worth so much that clubs just cannot afford to miss out on that. But let's go back to Matt Law's article. As he's saying here, the Telegraph Sport understands that the timetable, which is subject to government approval, of course anything can change. Let's see what happens. We're still like a month and a bit away until the 8th of June. This is going to work on the basis that the next announcement from Downing Street about the lockdown a week today eases the measures currently in place. As it says here, some clubs including Tottenham and Arsenal have already had players back working individually at their training grounds, and the next step would be for them to train in small groups while observing the distance protocols. Now, when it comes to these protocols, here's what most likely is going to be the case, and here are the protocols that the Premier League do want to put into action. As we can read here, all football's global positioning systems, blah blah blah, cones, corner flags, goalposts, etc, etc, are going to be disinfected thoroughly and very carefully. Now, of course, that needs to happen. The players come into contact with these things, and when you have instruments like this, they can be prone to picking up maybe diseases and illnesses, etc, etc. As it's continuing on, you guys, players will have to wear snoods and masks. Now, that would be quite interesting. Are FIFA going to maybe give us like a snood update on FIFA 20? Silly, probably not. Of course, it's all about making sure that there's minimal amount of contact as possible. Anyway, you guys, we now move on to the third story for the day, and that's going to be in regards to Batshauyi. Now, as we can see here, reported by Christoph Terrera. Now, he's speaking about a story that is 100% factual. Batshauyi is a player that the club are desperate to sell, want out. He hasn't lived up to the original 40 million euros that it cost to bring him here in the first place. Now, there's tons of reasons for this. I don't think it's as easy as just blaming Mitchie alone. You know, certain managers haven't really helped out. I personally feel too like Mitchie as well. He wasn't the most complete player. For him to really grow and to develop, he needed more game time, which was never the case because we had other strikers ahead of him in your, Diego Costas, Higuain's, Moratas, etc., etc. And if you're asking me, I think this season in particular is testament to Mitchie just losing his confidence. Now, I have heard some things privately behind the scenes, which I just won't disclose here. You know, I'm not a news channel, a fan channel, and I'm always going to care about the club. I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize anyone. So, from what I've heard, I do sympathize with Mitchie. And it does really tell you, just how mentally draining football can be at this level. Once you lose that confidence, once you have a crisis of confidence as well, players can fall off. And as we've seen with Mitch, yeah, he scored against Man United, but since then he's done absolutely nothing. How much money can we command for Mitch? As you can see on screen, he has had some great moments for us, especially in the Conte season. Conte was using him regularly because we only had him and Diego Costa at the time, and Mitchie did show a lot of promise. I still think personally his finishing with both feet and with his head is exceptional. However, maybe he's a bit too instinctive. He's worked under how many different managers, and they've all really struggled to get him to abide to the tactical side and to improve in that sense. If you're asking me, maybe the step up to a club like us was just too soon for Mitchie. He needed to play for like a middle club that still had a lot of ambition. He had to, really just improve on his craft more before making that step up. Now, I can see why Emanalo was a big fan to bring him in the first place. Like, honestly, I really do. Instinctively, his finishing is very good inside the box. I mean, as you guys can see on screen right now, some of these Mitchie goals really bring back memories. And on top of that, he's a very good character. I love his presence on social media, popular with the players as well. Sometimes, football is a harsh game. He has had quite a lot of opportunities and he hasn't really taken them. If you're asking me, this does give us an indication in regards to Tammy Abraham and, getting a second choice striker, because naturally you're not going to get as much game time. Lampard look to rotate them even more potentially, but normally the striker is on a good run of form. And you're not going to jeopardize that by just leave him out of games for no reason, subbing him off for no reason at all. So again, most times when you are a second choice striker, you really do find it difficult to get that consistent game time and to prove why you should get more minutes in the first team in the first place. So with Mitchie, it's going to be good luck to him. And I'm curious about how much money we can actually command for him. There's no way in hell we're going to get anywhere near that 40 million. Now, the club do want to sell. We don't want to put him on loan again. He's been on enough loans, and this contract going down, this is the final time to get money on the players. So maybe he can be used as a part exchange, but that depends on the clubs you want to do business with. I mean, if you want to get like a big player, like let's say a Sancho, I do not see Dortmund going for a player like him again. Maybe teams like your West Hams and Crystal Palaces, potentially, but if that's the case, then they need to cough up the money. Maybe Michy Batshuayi might have some joy going back to France. I think that would be best for him. Talks at Monaco have had a long-term interest in him, and if there was a club to get him back on form, that would be Monaco. So for me, it's a good luck to Michy Batshuayi. Now, you guys, we do move on to the next story, and I want to talk about Victor Moses, because it seems like Conte does want to keep Moses for next season. At the time, reports have been fluctuating, suggesting that maybe Conte and Inter Milan wanted to part with the player at the end of the season, but I guess maybe due to this whole pandemic situation, Moses has worked with the team. He understands Conte's tactical structure, and if Juventus, if Inter Milan do want to get another right wing back / left wing back, it's going to be hard in today's market. So I guess from a football business point of view, it does make a lot of sense to just keep Victor Moses. The stumbling block, though, as the article does state, is that they don't want to pay that full 12 million euros. And 12 million is a lot of money, especially for a player that is a plus to requirements at the club. And it's going to come down to whether we're going to, be flexible. Being flexible is one word we are not synonymous with ever since Marina has taken over. Now, You know, it has benefited us a lot. The huge player sales like your Oscars, Diego Costas, Hazards, Courtois, you know, playing hardball has worked. But I feel like you have to be flexible with your approach. You know, certain strategies like that aren't going to work for players that everyone knows the club don't want. You know, for your Bakayokos, your Moseses, you know, potentially Mitchie as well, you have to be flexible. You have to bring that value down. Go on with players like, to continue on with players like Alonso and Emerson too. You aren't going to get the full money for them. The only way we're going to get full money for any player now is if we're selling like our very best players. And even then, the current pandemic situation, you know, no club's going to get the that they want. Dortmund have accepted that they'd only get 87 million max for Sancho, which is responsible and also is reflective of the market at this point in time. Victor Moses, for me, I don't know, just from a personal point of view, I feel like he's been a very underrated player at this club. I feel like he has really been a very good team player. And I see him alongside the likes of your Bellettis. I see him alongside the likes of your Ferreiras, your Alexes, you know, etc., etc. Players that whenever they played, they gave you a solid 7 out of 10 every game. And I think you need that combination of player, of that type of player in your squads. Whenever Moses played, you know, I didn't see anyone get past him. I thought he contributed both halves, defensively and offensively. And I can't remember him having like any awful games. Like every now and then, rarely did he have an average game. It's okay because no player keeps up like 100% consistent form. I don't know. I feel like maybe because you always get different managers in, they have their own ideals for the players that they want in the squads. I think that's why Moses has been sacrificed every single time. And for me, the last straw was Sarri. For some reason, Sarri decided without even seeing him that Moses just couldn't play as a right back. And instead, he kept Zappacosta for the squads, which made no sense because Moses was infinitely better than anything Zappacosta brought to this team. Hopefully, we can find a flexible fee to sell the player for. It has to be less than 10 million. Maybe we could get 7.5 million, 8 million euros. That would be something. And if we start selling our depreciating assets for less than the money we want for them, that money adds up. And we're going to need all the money we can get if we want to strengthen the team for next season. But now, you guys, we are going to end with the final story for the day, and it's a pretty funny one. It's in regards to comments that Dele. But now, you guys, we are going to end with the final story for the day, and it's a pretty funny one. It's in regards to comments that Dele Alli made. Now, as the article says here, Dele Alli claims that there's a team that Tottenham players dislike even more than Arsenal. Now, it's quite obviously that's going to be us. And as we go on, as we can see on screen, quotes from Alli are, I think if you ask the fans, they will give you a different answer. But as players, the way things have been going with the league and the games, the rivalry with Chelsea is bigger than the one with Arsenal because of what they have done to us in recent years. Fans is different because the North London derby is massive, but as players, I think it's Chelsea, and I 100% understand and agree because Arsenal aren't the same force they used to be. You know, Spurs have been getting a lot more joy against them, but whenever they play against us, things become difficult. But this season alone, we beat them twice and outplayed them. We've outplayed them under the Sarri, Conte. We've got wins too. Mourinho, been getting wins after wins after wins. The most infamous win was when we really just affected their title challenging campaign. We got that infamous 2-2 draw against them. The iconic Eden Hazard goal, you know, top right, curling effort. You can watch that goal forever. Absolutely amazing. And just the context of that game as well, you guys, you know, Spurs being 2-0 up, just outplaying us in the first half, us coming back and just harnessing that Chelsea spirit and saying, you know what, Spurs, you shall not pass. You are not going to win here. And if you're asking me, I think they've kept that bad energy and bad blood ever since. And we've had the advantage most of the games, you guys. Growing up as a Chelsea fan, I've been to so many Chelsea versus Spurs derbies. I've been Spurs away how many times? And just from the fan hostility between Spurs fans and Chelsea fans growing up, I always thought that our rivalry was much bigger than the one with Arsenal. Now, maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe it's just, you know, TV, Sky, trying to gas up a derby. I know there's a lot of historical context with that. But I've always felt like rivalry's been, it's had a lot of bad blood between the fans and the players as well. And for me, that's what real derbies are about. You know? Again, it's nice to know that we're in the heads of the Spurs players rent free. And if you're asking me, that dominance over Spurs is only better and only going to continue. Guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up now. It's moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm EFC. This is Blue Lines CV. I'll see you guys later for some more videos.